My name is Kali. My pronouns are they, them. I'm an indie author and launched my indie imprint last year. I also have a 9 to 5 in academic publishing, and this vlog is mainly about me getting to grips to doing both together. There's lots of spinning plates. If you watched a couple of those episodes, you know there's like not just the first draft that I'm writing, but there's also lots of other projects in different stages that I need to wrangle. This is the weekend before I go up to Scotland to have a week's holiday. Obviously, I'm taking some of author work with me. And it's Friday afternoon now. My company has, in the summer month, we have like a half-day Friday policy. So I have booked a wild swimming session in the Cotswolds Water Park again, and I can't wait to get in the water. It's so muggy at the moment. Thunderstorms are actually forecast for later on. And then the rest of the weekend will be a bit more admin-y. I need to do some tax stuff, so I'm like to log like invoices and costs as I go along. So I don't have like a massive heap of them at the end of the year. Also want to send out some copies to an indie bookstore that carries the Slow Moon series, and the fifth volume has just been released, so I want to send them a couple of copies. So lots of admin-y things. And I also want to finish my third draft of A Season of Frost and Blossom that is due to go out to beta readers at the end of the month. Basically, I'm trying to get ahead, so once I'm returning from Scotland, I just need to send stuff out, but I've already prepped it. So, as you can see, lots to do. I'm also going to like pack more. I need to prepare stuff. Hopefully do a bit of tidying up before I go, so I don't return and yeah, and everything's a mess again. But I'm really, really excited about the journey. As I'm driving, it might be a bit difficult to vlog lots of it, but I will do my best to document everything. See you in a bit. Hiya. I had a pretty busy morning. I did some admin, sent out a newsletter to inform everyone that Volume 5 is now available. I also included a mention that I've launched this writing vlog. I wanted to have a few episodes up before I do that. Then I went to the library to pick up a few new books to read for my trip to Scotland. We won't have any Wi-Fi up there, so I needed some fodder. And it was a really nice thing to see my own books on display there. Then I put some fuel in the car, and I also checked the tire pressure. Trying to be a responsible adult. I've just had a notification that my friend has landed safely in Edinburgh, so that's amazing. Apparently it's raining and very misty up there, so what did you expect? It actually is raining here as well. From time to time, there's sort of a little shower, and it's such a relief. I'm thinking we'll probably have like a more of a cool trip in Scotland, but I'm not really worried about that. I have no complaints about living in my hiking boots for a week. And then I drove back home, put the car away, and went for another little writing sprint. I am now in chapter 12. We're so going towards the halfway point of the notebook. This is usually like, this is quite a normal pace, I think, for what I'm doing. I'm probably, while I'm in Scotland, I might not write as much just because we're doing stuff. But we're also gathering impressions and going to take lots of photographs about what we're going to see. And yeah, I'm already so excited. The rest of the afternoon, I think I'm going to start and do a bit, not start, because I've already started packing. So I'm sort of pull a few more things together, going to make myself something nice to eat. I have some peas that I need to use up, so I'm thinking about doing pea hummus or something nice. And apart from that, I don't think I'm going to do anything on the books this evening. I'm really trying to allow myself some rest in between bits. I have one more day on Monday where I'm working, but it's sort of a weird one because we have a work event in the afternoon. So I'm actually going to travel north probably around 3 o'clock-ish. So it's not a proper full day of work. And then, yeah, I just need to get a bit more organized with everything. But apart from that, that's where we are. It's just so much more livable when it's not as hot. And I like the lights better when it's a bit softer. Okay, see you in a bit. It's Sunday morning. I'm slowly, I've been awake for uh, maybe an hour or so. Um, I've started reading The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I started yesterday after I finished the previous book, and I'm already on page 174. It's really funny that sometimes you read books and they remind you, or some of the elements remind you so much of your own stories. And I'm definitely having a similar experience with this one. There are some things that have like a definite echo for me. I love the main character. One of her quirks is that not she can't not correct someone who said something inaccurate, and I I feel very seen. Um, it reminds me a lot of the manuscript that I've put aside for the moment because the main characters are very different, but they're of a similar age. For the main part, the main character here is sort of 34 years old, and my main character in this manuscript was incidentally, the working title is The Raven Quill, um, is sort of has a similar vibe to her, not quite, but um, there are also, yeah, just some echoes in there, like sentient books and stuff. So I see how I feel about it when I finished it, but this could very well be a comp title for my manuscript when I'm getting around to finishing it. I mean, as of this moment, the manuscript is, I'd say, like three quarters finished. And from like my current pub schedule, it's probably not before 2028, 29 that I can publish it anyways. So a lot may happen in between. And also I don't tend to write any like murder mystery elements. That's just not what I'm interested in for my own stories. So yeah, that was an interesting experience, but I'm really enjoying the Raven Scholar. It might mean if by the end it turns out to be a bit too similar to what I'm writing. I don't think so, because it's sort of my stuff is very much connected to other books that I'm writing, and yeah, there's just some echoes, but sometimes it can be strange when you realize that, ooh, that sounds familiar. That's an idea that I've had before as well. Um, so yeah, but it's very enjoyable. I'm feeling myself called back to the Raven Scholar, which is a great experience to have. The book before was not experience because it was really slow paced for what it was. And I found myself really impatient. Usually I really like sort of banter and characters having, I don't know, coffee and talking with each other. And but though I appreciated the themes of the book, and also like the main relationship was sort of a friendship slash sibling relationship, the pacing threw me off a lot. Pacing is one of my own problematic things that I know that I need to work on. Um, but yeah, for something that is an adventure novel type to be so slow was a bit grating. And this one, The Raven Scholar, is definitely like way more fast paced. Stuff happens. It's not always very dramatic, but stuff happens. So yeah, that's I'm probably going to read more of that today, because yeah, once I'm starting to get really interested, yeah, I'm reading quite fast. Then it rained a lot overnight, which is great. This means tomorrow I will not have to do like a massive watering job to keep the garden okay while I'm away. I'm just going to do like one round for good measure and relocate a few of the smaller pots so they're not in the sunshine if the sun shines while I'm away. Um, so great news there. I've also packed my big suitcase that I'm going to take down to the car this morning, so it's out of the way. Um, and then I only have like today I need to basically pack or what kind of book stuff do I want to take? I want to take some basic kitchen supplies, as I said before. Um, so yeah, I need to do that today. And then tomorrow I just have to then do the watering and put out the rubbish, and then that's it. And then we can go and explore, have an adventure. For work on the books, I think what I want to do today is maybe write a bit more of Dragon Watch. I've actually finished I don't know whether I mentioned that before actually. I actually finished my third draft of a season of Frosted Blossom, which is great news. Um, so yeah, I can sort of rest easily with that one. Um, so yeah, so the big things are now like trying to get a bit more ahead in Dragon Watch. I did some admin stuff yesterday as well, so that's all good. And sometimes it feels weird when you're searching for work, it's sort of, oh, what does need to be done before I'm taking a break? I'm sure something will come up. I started, I'm typing a bit of the science fiction stuff. I will probably take that with me just in case. I don't know if I'm actually finding time for that, but yeah, maybe just to make myself feel better. This is literally the least urgent thing, so I don't need to stress about it. But apart from that, I think we're in a good position. And then Scotland, here I come. See you in a bit. Where is it? From, we're packed enough sometimes recently. So it's fine sometimes. Oh yeah. I might I just had another good writing session in the coffee shop, and I'm now officially 2.5 pages away from reaching the halfway point in this notebook. Um, and I've also, one of the best writing tips that I've ever heard that worked for me is not stopping when you've run totally out of steam, but to give yourself a nice scene to look forward to, basically. Um, and at the moment, the scene that I've stopped in, my main character, Wicht, and the person they are beginning to fall in love with, they are in a situation where they spend the night somewhere. There's only one bed, but there are blankets, so it's going to be a blanket fort. Um, but it's more about them having the chance to talk, and it's not that they're not in any way enemies or anything. It's just getting to know each other. And I think that's sort of the loveliest break to take when you know you're coming back and then you're returning to something wholesome that is going to make you appreciate the characters more as well. Because sometimes I don't really know what's going on with them. They need to tell me. I mean, with him, who is the person that Wicht falls in love with, I know some of his backstory, but he's not a. So all that he tells is like from his own words, and he's like one of the most unreliable narrators there is, really. So he, from time to time, he changes his mind about himself and tells another version. Sometimes he is unexpectedly open, and where I want to go is basically that Wicht is going to become his confidant in a way, and someone he is almost painfully open with. That's the idea for their relationship. I don't know how it will turn out in the end, um, because he's actually definitely arrow ace. And so it's going to be interesting how to navigate their relationship. As I said, he's one of my favorite characters to write. And in a way, Dragon Watch is my present to myself because he takes center stage in it. Um, it has rained basically all day, which is in a way a bit frustrating because I had to bring in my suitcase this morning in the rain, like bring it to the car. But it means that I don't need to bother watering the garden extensively as I usually do before I go away because it literally has bucketed down and it's probably going to give a few more showers later on. So I'm not that worried about that anymore. Um, if I can't survive a week without me, then yeah, it's not. I try not to water too much, and be a bit aware of which kind of plants I use. So, for example, no hydrangeas, famously, as their name suggests, they need a lot of water and they really don't work in my garden. Um, so I'm more of the trying to do like fennel, herbs that don't need a lot of water. And then in the shady bit, also pretty unassuming or pretty hardy stuff like Japanese anemones who seem to thrive quite well. Um, yeah, everything's like low maintenance, really. That's my goal with the garden. Not too much. I'm not using any pesticides. I cut stuff back when it becomes annoying. Um, but my garden concept is feed the bees, feed all the little creepy crawlies. If I lose some nasturtiums to the cabbage whites, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. And sometimes it's a bit, I'm not a very controlled gardener, which is sometimes I find a bit weird considering my other tendencies. I think it comes from my mum, who is also a bit more, if it dies, there's space for something new, see what works best. It's more of an experimental approach. Um, and garden wise, I really like prairie gardens and stuff that is drought tolerant anyway. I like more gravelly gardens. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had the chance to design something that is so up my alley by myself from scratch. Don't know if that's ever in the cards. I'm doing the best that I can with a garden that's roughly 3 by 3 meters, so it's not big. The nice thing is, if it ever gets slightly out of control, I can get it back within 2 hours of work. It's perfect to do that next to everything else, and it definitely is a kind of, no, that's not the word I mean, not output, but outlet, that's the word. It's the perfect outlet next to something like writing where you sit still for a long time. So At the moment, I can't imagine living without a garden, or at least a balcony where I have a few pots and stuff. But I'm famously bad with indoor plants. Weirdly, I think because outdoor, I'm more, they need to take care of themselves. Indoor, yeah, it's more succulents and orchids, really stuff that can take a bit of drought as well, and like a bit of, uh, let's say, um, well-meaning neglect. That's the kind of plants I um, work best with. This is also why this lovely spiky little, I think it's called the starfish plant, has done quite well. So that's the plant situation for me. If you ever wanted to know, um, please let me know your plant philosophy. Do you have any? Do you have artificial ones? Maybe you have cats and they would eat them. When I had my cat, unfortunately, he was very old and I had to release him. Um, and yeah, he was 20 years old and he had cancer, like how it goes. I'm going to put it in the shop. And I loved him very much. Thankfully, Hamish never did eat any plants. I tried to give him like cat grass and everything, but he was not interested in that. So he was very uncomplicated with plants. But I know that lots of people need to be really careful because their cats are basically unearthing everything and eating everything that they can get their little paws on. Or other pets. Maybe you have other pets that might um, be all too happy to munch their way through your whole windowsill. I think plants and landscapes and nature is very important to me, and the garden is my part of being close to nature and sort of not wrangling it, not controlling it. It's more like, oh yeah, let's see what grows. Let's see what I can eat here. It's a bit more like a foraging garden. Because foraging is also something that I like to do, and I like to know which plants are edible and what you can do with them, or just when you make a curry or something, and then you think, I don't have any spinach, or it'd be nice to have something leafy in there, and then you walk out into the garden and you just pluck random things, and you can just use the garden like this. So it's a bit like that. Um, it's a very mixed use space, let's say that, but I love it dearly. And on that note, I think that would be a good point to wrap up this weekend vlog. The weekend vlogs are likely to be a bit shorter. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to drive up to Scotland, as I said, so um, the next vlog will be a bit weirder, even weirder, and a bit unusual. I don't know whether it's going to be long or short or just a lot of landscape. As I said, I want to take the laptop with me so I can film in our accommodation as well, because from what we've seen online, it looks absolutely stunning, and show you around there. Yeah, that's the plan for next week. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much for being here. Give me a like and subscribe. Let me know about your plans. Thank you for watching.